Hi Capricorn, welcome to your month ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. If you haven't got your seat yet on the winter solstice alignment activation session, and I say this to all Capricorns, not just for me but for you guys, this is going to be especially something that you want to be there for. I'm going to be talking about the 2020 conjunction that's taking place, also the event that will happen later on in the year as well. I will be talking about the solstice itself, which takes place at the time of Capricorn, right? Just at the beginning of Capricorn, actually. And I will also be taking you through a full FLP session, which I usually charge double what I'm charging for this. So if you haven't got your seat yet, spaces are limited. I would assure you to get one and get it ASAP. With that said, you can do that in the link in the description box below. With that said, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the month ahead has in store for you. So the first thing first, your message for the week for the month ahead. When I went into my intuition and I saw this really clearly, the first thing that popped into my head was the old style caravan, right? So that's what this is. I'm sure it doesn't look like that, but that's what it is. And the message was very, very clear to me. There's two sets of you this month. When it comes to your message, this is going to speak to two different sets of Capricorns, right? So one of you guys, this is about really deciding and discovering that you really feel to move. It's time for you to move home. It's time for you to maybe move area. There's something about your environment that feels stagnant and you are ready to go on to greener pastures, so to speak. And this isn't a case of the grass is always greener. It really isn't that. This is about you being truly ready to transcend the place that you're in. For others of you, the other camp, and I know a lot of you are going to be like, I want to be in that one. That's a case of the grass is always greener. But you'll know which one you're in, right? This talks about travel. Now, if you have been waiting to book travel, if you have been uncertain about whether you want to book a holiday, or you've been hovering over the book button and saying, oh, but it's too expensive, I can't afford it, I can't do this, I can't do that, or I haven't got time, or I won't get that time off of work, chuck all of that out of the window. There's something, and again, the message underlying for all of you is the same. There's something about your life or your environment that has become stagnant and it needs to move, it needs to change. This is the beauty of the caravan. When you think about the old gypsies and travelers, and they used to move from one place to another, you can never get bored that way. Life is never the same because it's always different, right? There's something about your lives and something about your world and your vicinity which has become stagnant, and that's a very, very challenging place for a Capricorn to be, because you guys are in it for the long haul, right? You know how to stick in for something and play the long game, right? If things are feeling stagnant and stuck to you guys, then something really does need to shift, something really does need to change. So for a lot of you, this talks about travel. If you've been trying to explain it away and say, oh, but I haven't quite got enough in the bank, so I don't really want to shell out for a holiday, this month you really need to put into place some form of a strategy. Even if that travel happens in 2020, it doesn't have to happen this month, but you do need to do something to shake up your immediate vicinity. That is really important. And if you've been putting off travel, like I said, this is the month where you really need to say to yourself, actually, no, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Even if you don't book it this month, make the plan so that once Mercury goes out of his retrograde and starts moving forward again properly, you can say to yourself, right, you know what, it's time to do this, let's go. All right. So your actions and interactions with the world at large this week, you get The moon card, right? So this is interesting because this is about, you know, the moon card sees us cyclic, right? It's just this whole thing of coming full circle, but it can also be looking over the past, and it can also be stagnant. Now, the moon is never stagnant, right? It can also, I just completely lost my train of thought there, right? I don't know what happened there, but yeah, the moon card is cyclic, and because it falls in your actions and interactions with the world at large, this is about you looking to dispel the confusion, right? This is about you saying to yourself, right, I'm unsure about where things are actually heading at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure that I like the path that I'm on. What can I do to change it? So you're getting very proactive this month. The problem is, when we're stuck in a cycle, we might think we're being proactive, but we're not actually being proactive at all, because we're just going around in the same sort of pen. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is a bit like what I'm actually hearing is goldfish syndrome. Like, you know, the thing with a goldfish, because its memory is so short, it's like it always thinks that whatever it's thinking and feeling at that moment in time is the way that it's always been. You know, as an example, so if if you're hungry, you feel like you've been hungry your whole entire life. 10 seconds later, oh, I'm not hungry anymore. Oh, I've been full my entire life. Do you see what I mean? And, you know, to try and to put a lighter spin on it, but if you're acting inside the confines of things that you've already done, that you've already tried, that are always the same, you will only get change or difference if you step outside of this comfort zone. You really need to shake things up this month, whatever that means to you, however that looks. This is a month for you to do something different. You need to really you know, find out what is it that's holding you in a specific pattern. Ooh. And for some of you, interestingly enough, it might be, I'm going to take that one out because it was the only one that was face up, and this one as well, because for some reason it was face down, but I felt really drawn to it. What is it? Ah, very nice. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And, you know, if things are stagnant and things aren't moving and you are stuck in a rut and stuck in a cycle, movement, change, you know, adaptability, these are the things that you're now going to need to really start to cultivate in your life. Now, in terms of money and finances, money looks good, finances look good. You've got the Ace of Wands, you've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, right? Beautiful cards for money, beautiful cards for finance, because again, you're being very proactive about making money. You're being very proactive about building something. For a lot of you, you could be coming up with ideas to make more money this month. You know, and this could be new things. These are new things that you're thinking of, new ideas, new endeavors. Possibly for some of you, this is about, when I say speculative gambling, I mean things like the stock market. Now, maybe not in the Mercury retrograde for sure, but once it goes direct, you could really start looking into this stuff. The Ace of Pentacles is a new beginning when it comes to your money and materials. It's something brand new welcoming in. Then you've got the Page of Wands, and the pages are very similar aces to the, very similar energy to the aces, because they're new endeavors, they're inspirations. And the Page of Wands especially is inspiration, new ideas, that spark of intuition that gets you emotive on doing something. And it looks for me like a lot of you are thinking, right, you know what, I want to start making my money work harder, work smarter, work better. So this could be, some of you literally are looking at investing in the stock markets. For others, you could be thinking about starting your own company and not thinking about it, not, you know, like actually doing it. And you're doing a lot of research. You know, that for some of you, this could be something that you've always wanted to do, but never quite had the, you know, not had the guts, because Capricorn can be quite gutsy, but they're not ones to make, you know, what I would call rash decisions. You know, sometimes they're very pragmatic in that way, right? You know, mostly sensible, you know, always do that. This month, you're being asked to step outside of that. It's almost like this month you're saying to yourself, right, you know what, if I want to make more money, I'm going to have to do some different things. I'm going to have to start some different ventures. It looks like you're seeking to create more revenue streams this month than you've ever had before. And it doesn't look like you're just doing one. It looks like you're doing, you know, two, possibly even several, which is really, really exciting. But you are definitely putting foot to bum this month. You're making something happen when it comes to the finances, and you're being really, really proactive about it. So your communications with the world at large, You got the Nine of Cups. Now, I really like this, and I will say this to you for a few Capricorns that I know that have had some challenges. Whatever it is that is brought to you, however it is that somebody wants to, you know, try and get a rise out of you or whatever, or if they're sending letters or anything like that, I can safely say this, it will all come to naught. Right, you've got the Nine of Cups. This is complete wish fulfillment. It's also a card of healing, right? And it suggests that because you've got the Page of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles there, for some of you, this is about healing between you and your children. If you've had a particularly difficult patch with some of your kids, with one of your kids, with your only child, you could find that this month you really go through that process of reconnecting with them in a really powerful way, and in a way that actually brings a lot of happiness and contentment. In terms of your communications, for those of you that are in jobs or work for work for companies, should I say, this bodes very well. It could even be something like, maybe not necessarily a promotion, but you could be getting a bonus of some sort, or, you know, maybe you could be pushed forward for something that that starts to transpire, and maybe that's where the extra revenue comes from in that respect. For all of you though, in some way, shape or form, there's definitely a rift being healed this month. And the other part of it is, like I said, whatever has been a challenge, it's almost like there's a balm put out on it this month. Like, your communications look brilliant though. I mean, this whole spread is actually really nice. Interestingly enough, you've got the Moon card there. 1 and 8 gives you 9, and you've also got the 9 there, so you've got a double hit of this 9 completion energy, right? So like I said, for a select few of you, this is the end of where it is that you live, but it's a conscious decision. It's not something that you're forced to do. It's not a place that you're forced out of. It's not something that you have to do. It's not like you being thrown out or evicted or anything like that. It's a conscious choice to say, actually, you know what? I feel like we'll be better suited elsewhere. All right, so lovely. And the Nine of Cups basically says that anything that you seek this month, you will get. All right, which is lovely, but you've got to communicate it out. It's about asking for it, which is nice. So your relationships, you've got the Oak King. This is the Hanged Man, right? For those of you that are single, this basically says that this month is not necessarily, don't go to anybody, right? Whether you're male or female, let them come to you, right? Whatever that means to you, whoever you are, whether you are male or female, if you are single as a Capricorn or you have Capricornian energy, this month you let them come to you. The Hanged Man always waits, right? He allows things to be exactly as they are. And like I said, I feel like whatever or whoever it is that you're hoping to attract comes to you this month. You don't have to chase after anyone or anything. For those of you that are partnered, you've got a few more conversations to go before you can have this, right? So whether it's the travel or whatever, like if one of you's like, oh yeah, let's do it, and the other's all like, no, you will find that happy medium. You will find that common ground where you can both say, look, you know what, we actually deserve this as a couple, as a family. Let's just do it. Whatever it costs us, whatever it takes, let's travel more, let's go out more, and it's not that you're getting, you know, frivolous or whatever with money. It's not that at all. It's more just a case of you're saying to yourself, you know what, we need to live now because now is all we have, right? And, you know, the future we can still be prepared for, but we're not going to sacrifice the present moment so that, you know, we can be okay in a hypothetical future, basically. For your first week of the month, you've got the Hanged Man, right? So you've got a double hit of this energy. Even if you're not necessarily spiritual, this is a week for you to pay attention to your hunches, especially to your dreams, because you've got the Moon card here, you've got the Oak King, and you've also got the Hanged Man, right? Which is a lot of Piscean energy. This is very much about the dreamscape. So pay attention to your dreams, your hunches, your feelings. This first week of the month as well. Like I said, you're being proactive, but you are going to have to take a step back to look at the bigger picture. You are going to have to take a moment where you kind of say to yourself, all right, something's bugging me here, and I do feel like I'm in a rut and I want to get out of it. What is it that needs to shift? What is it that needs to change? And you know what? That small little answer that comes from within might be very, very simple. You might be like, oh, no, it's not that. It probably is. All right, excuse me. Your second week of the month, you've got the Tower card. Please, this second week of the month, buy a lottery ticket, buy a scratch card, put a bet on something, you know, even if it's just frivolous, even if you just have a laugh with it and you think like, oh, because the Tower card brings sudden things, sudden realizations. The fact that you've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, it looks like some form of gamble really pays off this month, like really pays off in a way that you just can't anticipate or expect. And I really, really like it. For some of you, it could be a conversation about finances that just completely changes everything. You know, whatever ideas come to mind, whatever conversations you have this month about money, whatever things you discover about creating or starting a business or even a promotion that comes up, go for it. This second week of the month, you could be really surprised at what transpires. Third week of the month, you've got the Judgment card right underneath the Nine of Cups. There is definitely a healing. There is a rift or a wound when it comes to communication between, for those of you that have children, something between you and your kids will definitely be healed this month. You'll be really surprised as well at how deeply, how openly, how honestly you're able to talk. You might learn some stuff that your child has been feeling that you didn't even anticipate, and you think, wow, do you know what, that's why you've been behaving how you have, because you know you've been feeling all of this. And there could be a lot of really happy tears because of the depth of emotion that's displayed between you. This is a really beautiful month in that respect. It really, really is. Lots of healing taking place, and it will happen through conversation. It's not just going to be like some esoteric concept of, oh yeah, we're being healed. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is genuine connection and talk and communication that breeds that kind of healing and that rekindling, reconnection of what I'm actually seeing here in my mind is, you know, like when bones and wounds knit back together. It's like that. It's like something, a rift could really, really be healed this month in a really profound way. And then finally, the fourth week of the month, you get your own card, right? Look at that. You got the Devil card, which represents the sign of Capricorn. Interestingly enough as well, the Oak King, if you see, he's got his antlers there. So this really suggests to me that for those of you that are single, you really are, it's almost like you get to be like, I'm feeling myself this month, like, you know, screw it whether anybody else is or not, I'm feeling myself. Keep that energy, hold on to that energy, because by doing so, you exude that natural confidence, right? You're going to be showing people like, yeah, you know, this is who I am, this is what I'm all about, and I need somebody that's going to be able to match that vibration. For those of you that are partnered, this looks really nice, because in some way, shape or form, you're leading the relationship, and it's not about you carrying the other person. It's just about having that freedom to really feel like you can express all of who you are within the confines of your relationship, like lots of open communication. Now, I do need to mention that you've got the Devil card next to the Judgment card here, right? You could be in some ways, you know, feeling yourself so much that you might try to sort of ramrod other people's thoughts and feelings. It's really important if you want these profound shifts and healings to happen in, you know, personal relationships. And if this is the other thing, if you don't have any children, it will be in your personal relationships. If you don't have a partner, it could be in your family or your social circle. Just don't get so ahead of yourself that you kind of fail to see where somebody else is at. That's the only thing that I want to say here. Yeah, and it looks like as well this month you might possibly be ready to divulge something about yourself to somebody from your own personal past that you've been holding on to for quite some time. And that's going to be really important as well. Your message, or should I say your key to the month, is the Nine of Swords. So you've got lots of 9 energy here. You know, you've got 3 nines effectively. The only thing that I want to say to you is, because the Nine of Swords is about worry, but sometimes it's about us hyping that worry up, you know, like a bit like the Ten of Swords. Sometimes it can be making a mountain out of a molehill. There's a really good energy that permeates this month. Don't, you know, for this, like I said, whatever you can do to alleviate that, do it. Don't, you know, say to yourself, oh yeah, but you know, we haven't got the money to travel. Okay, well, maybe not now, but what can we do about getting that money together so that we can travel? You know, can we get a payment plan? Can we start saving? Can we, you know, what is it going to take for us to do that? For those of you, when this comes to moving, don't worry about it. The right place at the right time will show up for you. Like I said, the energy is stirring this month and you're going to have to think about this stuff. That's what comes to mind, all right? I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.